Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
And welcome back.
Guys, it's going on out there. There's something building. Now, we had talked about that 6.4 quake over in Russia, and we had that 6.3 in Chile. And then as we were making the video yesterday, I just looked out of curiosity because I had said previously in the video, watch for something about the same or maybe a little bit more over around Alaska. And boom, we had that one in Alaska. Now we see over 40 volcanoes are erupting right now with 5 major explosions in the last 3 days.
And that's a really huge deal right there. I'm not even sure what to think about that, actually.
Well, we've seen increased sun activity, and we've had flares, and we've had radio blackouts. We've had 3 big radio blackouts. All that affects the Earth. It goes right into the center of the Earth. The energy does, the neutrinos, and it causes reactions. Again, this is an electromagnetic universe. So, looking at some of them, we see Mount Etna. You have 2 eruptions going simultaneously here, 2 vents. Both of them are going, and we'll have to keep an eye out and see how this progresses.
Oh, absolutely. This is, definitely.
Yeah, this is a famous one as well. This is in Sicily. It's Sicily's second largest city that is basically in the shadows of Mount Etna. And, the volcanism there has been very historical, and they've kept track of eruptions all the way back to 1500 BC. And, we're going to watch this, and we got a lot to watch when you get down to it. You got at least 50 explosions in 9 hours at Telica volcano in Nicaragua.
Wow, that's a lot.
And of course, this country's been hit with the 2 big hurricanes, the 2 Cat 4s. It's just been an incredible year. Record everything is going on here. And so, you have emissions going on there. As you can see, there's video here. And moving right along, Sakurajima, strong explosion as well over in Japan. And also in Indonesia, at Semeru. Now look at that. Look at the lightning.
Wow, that looks like huge plasma bursts, not just a little lightning.
Yeah, we've been watching emissions to 50,000 feet, which at that height, definitely it can, especially when you're closer to the equator, equate to cooling the planet.
Definitely.
So you have all these going, and I just looked at this and said, holy crap, look at that. USGS to show 85 earthquakes right there at Yellowstone Lake. They don't usually, I'm not accusing them of covering up anything. Well, maybe I am. Maybe a little bit. But this is interesting. And we were talking about Yellowstone. If Yellowstone ever went, it's kind of a game changer. The only place you could go is to the southern hemisphere to really avoid the consequences.
I know, and that's a long ways away.
It sure is. You'd have, the housing and land prices already are expensive in New Zealand and Australia. Of course, we're on lockdown anyway. Right. So, everybody's kind of stuck for the most part. Look at that, 85 in Yellowstone. That is quite a swarm we have going on here.
Indeed it is.
It's not the only one, though. And again, the energy is transferring from Alaska, as that was the last one we had that 6.4 on, over towards the continental U.S. in the west. And you can see we have quite a bit of quake activity throughout Idaho here. And then we're going to get to this, and we'll look at the headline here. More than 200 quakes follow a 5.1 near Mena, Nevada. And this area has been swarming on and off for quite a while, almost a year now, about a year. And we felt that big one. It shook us.
Yeah, definitely. We thought it was something big shaking the trailer.
It was like there was 2 Bigfoot out there, trying to play ping pong with our trailer.
Yes, and it wasn't that. It was a big quake.
It was, but boy, it made us just sit right up out of bed and say, what the heck is going on? That camper was rocking, and there was nothing naughty going on.
Okay.
Oh, she's blushing. Sorry about that, guys. So this is Nevada, and what I find curious about this, too, is there's plumes that feed these super volcanoes, and Long Valley Caldera is just that. It's a super volcano caldera, and that's just to the southwest of this area that's swarming right now. So I've always wondered, I wonder if, the plate movement has put it so that now the plume is right under this area. That's one of the things that I find very, very interesting. Because, if we look at Yellowstone right here, you go back through time, you see that there was eruptions in Idaho and then over in Oregon, close, pretty much right over in this area. So the plate's been moving in that same direction. So, I got a sneaking suspicion that the plume might be right about here now.
Yeah, I kind of feel you're right. There could be something just right there aggravating the situation.
And, Cindy, when we were living in Nevada, she did have a dream about ash falling. And we were talking to a couple of her family members just yesterday. Same sort of dreams of ash falling from the sky.
Yep, I did. There was these big tubes of ash and they were surrounded with flame and they were falling. So, but hopefully that was something else.
So, yeah, the Earth is rocking because, for one, we have 737 quakes in 24 hours. And typically we have been watching 250 to maybe 350 on a given day. So, this is a big uptick. And you can see swarms in many different places, some of the usual. It's awful quiet right now over here, so we'll see what happens. Awful quiet over in that part of the Ring of Fire. And we have a 6.0 earthquake that hits the Baleine Islands region in the Southern Ocean. As you can see, this is below Australia, in between Australia and Antarctica.
Very, very busy out there.
Yeah. And the sign, too. They say when these oarfish wash up, watch out. And this sucker is huge.
I know. They're big ones.
Look at the size of this one. Wow. And this was caught off Taiwan just before 2 earthquakes hit the area. 16.4 feet. That's quite a fish.
If I were them, I would just have someone on Oarfish watch.
I think they're going to be having a special on sushi.
Yes.
And Sumatra, we see floods hitting Sumatra, damaging thousands of homes, affecting more than 26,000 people. And wherever there's rain, there's going to be more. And, it's pick your poison, and we talk about this all the time.
Well, you have to, because when you're considering a place to go, you need to know what is going to work for you, but then you always have to give up something else, always.
Right. And so, we've told you guys, and we're going to put up the first video today. Hopefully we get it done over on Evolutionary, looking at good spots. And we're going to break it down into states too. So we'll be talking about starting with the states that we feel are some of the best states for these times.
Yes, definitely. There's a whole lot to go over too, things to take into consideration that normal people wouldn't, but we will.
And again, it's for these times. So, if it wasn't the times that we're in, I would probably be in Sarasota, or Nokomis or Venice. That would be probably my first choice, or maybe even Charleston. I love Charleston too. Or Wilmington. I mean, I like the water. I like being on the ocean. Cindy's like, keep me away from the ocean.
I can't help it. It's like my heels just won't go there.
No. So, we'll go over our picks, but within each one of them, we'll try to give you ideas on nice areas away from population centers, but yet, maybe there's some amenities around there to keep you busy if we are allowed to go and do things. In some states you are, in some states you're not allowed to do too much. And, thinking about things like, well, where could you affordably find a place where you could actually grow food, stay away from the major population centers if there's going to be more chaos coming out, because this whole selection fiasco is far from over, and the pendulum's going to swing, and that's going to make a lot of people upset. Not to get off on a sidelight there, but this is something to think about because, here we have areas that are getting flooded all the time, and then yet we have areas in drought. And it just seems like you have your choice of extremes. There's not too many places that are, as the Cinderella story goes, just right,
Always something to give up.
And drought-driven hunger threatens 1.5 million people in southern Madagascar. And again, there's so many declassified documents. And we were talking to another family member whose father grew up in the military and was talking about being stationed and seeing action in Vietnam. And just the admission that even back then, Vietnam War time, they were manipulating the weather.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so think about that. That was 50 years ago. What could we do now?
Oh, amazing stuff now.
Yeah, amazingly devastating. Tropical cyclone Burevi to make landfall on Sri Lanka, or right over northern Sri Lanka on the 2nd. And so this one was, I think, the 5th named storm of the season over there. And it's not a super powerful storm, but yet again, it's all about how fast it's moving. Right now it's 7 miles an hour, so that's okay. It's when they get down to 1 or 2 or even 3 miles an hour and saturate an area that you could have tremendous flooding. Maximum sustained winds right now are between 40 and 45 miles an hour, with some gusts up to 55. And here is a real seasonal looking picture here. And so over in the UK, they're set for a flurry of heavy and rare early December snow this week, with even far southern regions on course for disruptive accumulations. We were talking to our good family member Geoffrey today over in Alabama, and he was saying, "Burr, get rid of this stuff because it's so unusually cold."
Yeah, he was having a hard time with that cold today.
And this is on top of an abnormally warm stretch. Mm-hmm. And, he said the banana trees were growing there in Alabama. He's in northern Alabama. But now we're going to go the opposite extreme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what's going on?
Part of the changing times and perhaps part of some enhancements.
I think it's, that too.
So British Columbia glaciers, 38% thicker than previously thought. Yeah, all the finagling with the numbers too. Unfortunately, we live in a very agenda-driven world where it's getting to the point where we cannot believe anything.
I know, and it's so sad because you want to believe in something. Everybody wants to believe that they can trust something, but you just kind of can't.
So yeah, here we go with, again, revisionism going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 38% thicker than originally thought on 5 glaciers in the Columbia River Basin. That's a pretty good percentage being off. You gotta, again, wonder. But, we could blame everything on carbon emissions.
Everything, right.
And check out these strange blue sea dragons. They're washing up in Cape Town, South Africa. That's kind of pretty.
Oh my gosh, that's absolutely gorgeous and stunning.
And this is actually... I've never seen these things before. They say they found 20 of them. And there's video there. I guess they're technically sea slugs, but that's the prettiest slug I've ever seen.
I want one of those slugs. Yep.
So as always, guys, thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Be prepared for anything, but keep those positive spirits up and keep sending out those prayers for everybody that's suffering going through these times in these areas.
God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.